welcome to In the Air on CricTracker. मेरा नाम है निवेदना. Prabhu, of course, we're discussing everything to do with the England-India Test Series. There's so much to be talking about India's performance today. लेकिन उससे पहले अगर आप हमारे special guest प्रत्यय से कोई question पूछना चाहते हैं, do not forget to use the hashtag #AskCricTracker. He'll be more than happy to be answering that. And on that note, let me call Pratyay on the show. Pratyay, welcome back. Great to have you. I'm guessing you're a little disappointed with the way India has performed. But speaking about that, we'll of course get into a little more of the details and analysis part of it. But the kind of expectations you had, and just in general, and what has happened, quite a sad turnout.
Yes, indeed, they would be disappointed definitely because after the kind of start they got, it was expected that they would be able to build upon that. Even in the pre-show, we were talking that if they can get on to the lead and if they can get on to 183 with as many wickets as possible. But as I even pointed out in the pre-show that I expect that there is a collapse, probably one more in this pitch, and India kind of proved that almost correct. Who knows, there might have been more wickets had the play been continued. But again, it was kind of a stop-start day, couple of rain interventions, and then the play getting called off. But yes, the kind of start India managed, they would be extremely disappointed, not slight. They would be really disappointed to have kind of given the edge again to England, because it was a great chance. 97-run opening partnership. It was 183 is all that you have on the board. So they would have wanted to capitalize that, but it was unfortunate for them to lose as many wickets as they did.
Right. I mean, हम आगे बात करेंगे about the fact that individual performances की बात करना ही पड़ेगा of how badly some of the let's even talk about the top order Indian batsmen. लेकिन उससे पहले जिन्होंने अभी join किया है, hello to everybody from Pratyay and my side. अगर आप कोई भी analysis करना चाहते हैं या आपके viewpoint आज के match के बारे में, of course, the rain, as usual, had to play spoil sport. It was initially bad light before that. जो England conditions के बारे में हम बात करते रहते हैं, as once again, ruined things. लेकिन अगर आप कोई questions पूछना चाहते हैं या individual performances के बारे में आपका कोई thought hai, please put that in so that we can also take those questions from all of you. Let's first start with, of course, looking at the summary, or rather the scorecard of what transpired on day 2. If we could take a look at the scorecard and where both the teams are standing. Of course, on one hand, they did score 183 runs yesterday, and looking at that score for India, 125 for 4 in 46.4 overs. KL Rahul, of course, managing that show pretty much on his own. क्योंकि वहां पे अगर आप रोहित शर्मा की परफॉर्मेंस भी देखें, just 36 out of 107 balls, बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपेक्टेशन थी. जो हमारे प्री मैच शो में भी हम बात कर रहे थे, that looked like कि शायद केएल राहुल और रोहित शर्मा का शायद वो पार्टनरशिप would have added something more. लेकिन just going into it, crucial wicket था रोहित शर्मा का wicket. We'll also talk about his individual performance. But let's first talk about KL Rahul. Pratyay, in terms of his performance, he has stepped up after a very long time, like we discussed initially, come back into Test cricket. How do you view that?
I think yes, it was a great opportunity for him because, as you rightly said, that he's coming after long. The last he played back in 2019 against West Indies. It has been a long break. It's almost a couple of years that he's coming after. और इतने लंबे समय बाद जब आप आते हैं, and he's opening not because he was designated to do that, because the team management was looking towards him as more of a middle order batsman and not as an opener. But now he has gotten that chance because of the injuries to Shubman Gill and then to later on Mayank Agarwal. So I think that this will be an innings that will give him a lot of confidence, because comebacks are not easy in the Indian side anyways, and in the test format, in the longer format, it gets even more difficult. Considering how the partnership was going, he was looking very fluent. Rohit Sharma was more like taking his time, playing the odd shot, but he was more settled. Rahul unfolded his shots with a lot of confidence. So I think that, and he's still not out, which is very good for Indian perspective, because they are behind by not too many. Some 50-60 odd runs. So they think that if Rahul can maybe build on from here and can maybe hold one end up, because there's still a little bit of batting to come. They've got Pant, there is Shardul Thakur as well. But if these couple of players can contribute a bit and try to maybe now, because now I don't think India would be exactly fancying too big a lead, but if they can still manage to get something like a 50 or 70 odd, even that will be very crucial. So I think that KL Rahul's role now with all these wickets falling in quick succession increases all the even more. So it would be a great chance. And if he can, in fact, go on to convert this into something big, I think he will definitely get back into the national reckoning for cementing his spot in the Test side.
अगर हम बात करें about आज की performance, quite disappointing with the way India has performed in terms of batting, and of course everybody believes this because there was this statement that VVS Lakshman had made a couple of hours before they went to day 2 that looked like India has rectified their mistakes from the World Test Championship final loss, and I think he spoke a little too early because of course he was talking in the context of the bowling aspect, but the
Exactly.
batting pretty much the same like how they collapsed in World Test Championship final. क्या हो रहा है वहां पे, क्या गलतियां चल रही है, because it's the same thing, looking like how you spoke about, they would collapse, and that's pretty much what happened, and which is why they stand at what they stand, whether it's comments like whether Test cricket hai, T20 ka format hai, it's looking very confusing looking at that scoreboard, pretty much. But before we get into more about the battles, especially we'll have to talk about Kohli and Anderson's battle as well. Let's take a quick
Absolutely, yeah.
look at the summary of how England bowlers have performed, because they've managed to create quite a show today. If you could take a look at that, and then Prathi, I'm going to get your opinions about it. In terms of England bowlers so far, of course, Anderson creating the magic that he has. Robinson getting that one wicket. Of course, we still have to see what Broad and Curran will get. But you tell me, looking at this, it's not surprising that Anderson has managed to trouble Team India. लेकिन आप उसको कैसे view करते हैं?
Well, see, now he is the joint third highest wicket taker in the Test history, tied with Anil Kumble on 619. So that tells you, and he's a pacer, he's not a spinner. All the three top names, if you see Shane Warne, Muralidharan, and Anil Kumble, they are all spinners. So that speaks about, we all, whenever you are talking about Anderson, there's a point of longevity that everyone brings up. And rightly so, because he's 38, 39, he's not a kid anymore, he's still into it. And he has been into cricket for so long and still being able to do what he does. Back-to-back wickets to, I would say, arguably the finest batsman in the modern era of cricket, not just in India. I'm talking about Test cricket at large. Virat Kohli and Cheteshwar Pujara, getting them on back-to-back deliveries. That just shows the kind of prowess he has. Talking about entire bowling performance, I guess the lines were probing even from Stuart Broad, but he managed to induce a few false responses, but did not get those wickets at times that can happen. And Robinson again was pretty impressive. Sam Curran did not bowl as much; he was just into the attack by the time then that the rain interruption arrived. So not much to look into him. But I think that Anderson was extremely impressive. And perhaps it could be either way. If India would not have had it not been for the rain interruption, who knows, that collapse that they had managed to trigger might have gone on, and maybe India could have suffered a little bit even more. So this opportunity might as well be a blessing in disguise for India, because now you have got a chance to kind of hold your nerves, and when you come back tomorrow, you'll be starting afresh, so you can maybe have a better game plan, assess the situations better in how you want to approach towards it. So I think that it could be either way, because when you keep on coming back and forth, it kind of even hurts the rhythm, as we keep on always talking about कि जब आप बाहर जाते हैं.
Optimistic side of you कि जो
Yeah, I
fans
think
hope है, कुछ तो hope है, कल कुछ तो होने वाला है.
absolutely. See, I think that it's too early for India to give up. Still, you have got 6 wickets in hand. I agree that, okay, the last 3 batsmen, you are not even counting them a lot, because the Indian tail does not wag. Hopefully, if they can, that would be very good for India. But if still not, you still have got 3 batsmen in the bank. There is one very set batsman who's playing past 50, KL Rahul. So I think that it's not all lost. But yes, had it not been at that particular point of time when the game stopped, you continuously, because we saw England was 138 for 3, and suddenly they found themselves in some couple of hours that they were 183 all out. So that can happen.
Let me ask you about that. Now, considering the fact that we've spoken about कि विराट कोहली पे प्रेशर होने वाला है, that whole talk about as a captain to perform was already there after the World Test Championship final loss. But the bigger question is, जो सब पूछ रहे हैं, विराट कोहली को हुआ क्या है? Like, where is the Kohli that everybody knows he's known for, and the kind of milestone that he's already kind of around in terms of getting that 23,000 runs? Because if we could take a look at the battle between the very famous battle between Anderson and Kohli, but the bigger question is, where is the King Kohli that everybody knows and talks about? What is going wrong?
See, I think that today he was if you look at the delivery that Pujara played, it was one of those deliveries that he was forced to play. The kind of line that Anderson bowled on, and then he was kind of, there was no room he could not have left, and he was forced to play his bat going into the direction of mid-on, and then he edging back behind the stumps. Kohli's delivery was perhaps the one that he might have wanted to leave, but he was just in, and immediately when he comes in, he gets that kind of a delivery. And is, as even in the pre-show we were talking about that, uh, all of a sudden from somewhere this kind of a delivery might just pop up. It was just a
Yeah.
case of probably it was not just being Kohli unlucky. It was of course a lot of credit to Anderson's caliber, because he knows that he has troubled him in 2014. In 2018, it was Kohli all over Anderson. He did not get out. He got lucky. There were catches dropped. There were chances that went against him, and now straight away Anderson gets on to take his wicket right on the first ball of the tour of this match as well. So I think high on confidence that would be for Jimmy Anderson. For Kohli, I think that I personally think that it's not about how it bodes for him, is that he has to look towards this series in terms of these are still early days, just the first inning.
Yeah.
Potentially, he still has what 9 chances to bat in the series. So I think that it's not going to be a time that it would be ideal to judge him. If he can
Right.
get back into the second inning as well, that would be very good for India.
There is a comment that has come from Satyam Singh, and I think that's जो सारे लोग वही बात कर रहे हैं कि सेम मिस्टेक जो हुआ था 2014 में वही दोहराया गया है
Right.
by Kohli.
True.
We of course Kohli के बारे में the reason why we're talking about that is because, like I said, skipper का pressure है ही. And Kohli again playing the ball which he can leave easily is what Satyam has continued to say as a new comment. But
Right.
we have spoken about Kohli, but we have to speak about two other players जहाँ पे वहां पे expectations natural है, whether we're talking about Cheteshwar Pujara or Ajinkya Rahane. In terms of, again, the question is what is happening in this format, because there is, you also spoke about that in the pre-match जहाँ पे हमने discuss किया था that at the end of the day, the expectations from players like Pujara and Rahane is obvious, and you also mentioned that शायद pressure नहीं होने वाला है, but they know they have to step up. So again, once
Right.
again, whether we're talking about Pujara, we have spoken about, but Rahane, not to be stepping up. Again, what is
Yeah.
going on? If you were to really analyze the shots that they're playing, what is it that
See,
Pujara?
I think, see, just to add to Satyam's point before I take these two, he's right, because Kohli was troubled outside the off stump in the 2014 tour. That is exactly where the Anderson ended up delivering this time, and he again edged it. So that's a fair point made by him. Coming on to Pujara, I think, as I said, it was one of those deliveries where he was forced to play, and there was little that he could have done about it. He was kind of stuck into a position and ended up edging. That was a delivery probably that deserved a wicket. But if you talk about Rahane, he was run out, and there was a clear case of, he was not exactly, I would not say he was nervous, but I still feel that he was looking to get off the mark, or maybe because he was all the 5-7 balls, odd balls that he lasted. Not even once was he in complete control of the shots that he was trying to play. There was a couple of deliveries that went drifting down the leg side. Then there was a couple of misses as well, and there was another chance that he was in trouble. He could have been run out earlier as well. So there was a bit of nerves on his part. But I think that when India had lost two crucial wickets on back-to-back deliveries, someone who has the amount of experience that Rahane has, he had a set batsman at the other end in KL Rahul. Probably, if he was feeling not too comfortable, he could have maybe asked KL Rahul to retain more of the strike and maybe just try to get a hang of what the pitch is playing like, what the bowlers are trying to do, and maybe then later on he could have tried to capitalize upon that. That rush of that moment. See, because in Test cricket, I personally feel that run out is the worst form of dismissal. You cannot do a wrong bigger.
Interrupting you, but the professor is saying basically these are silly mistakes. So he's,
Yeah. See, because
that's how, right?
see, in T20 cricket you have just 120 balls, and you understand that every ball is an event in T20 cricket, as we always say. In Test
Yeah.
cricket, no one is going to pull you up if you are even going to play 300 balls. You have got that liberty. Make use of that and just try to hang in there. You know that two players have been out, most importantly of your middle order, and two crucial batsmen. Your captain is gone. You're the vice
Yeah.
captain of the side, so he could have probably gone on to capitalize that. Given the
Yeah.
fact that he has not even been amongst the runs already, it was a definite case of chance lost for both India and for Rahane after the
Right.
kind of start they managed.
Right, because I think it all boils down to consistency, right? Whether you're talking about Kohli, I mean, of
Yeah.
course, fans will always wait for that century or even half century. But keeping that aside, it's about their performance going in such high-profile events. Whether we're talking about the World Test Championship final and coming into this, playing in England conditions. Of course, the bowling was improved at least in on the first day of what was seen yesterday. But
Yeah.
to summarize it, to kind of say what has happened today, of course, play did play spoil sport, but like Pratyay has said, that maybe that expectation from KL Rahul and of course Pant to kind of cement it and probably take it forward for India is the next hope. But on that note, Pratyay, before we wrap up, what are you predicting apart from that? Optimistic side that you're looking at Pant and KL Rahul's approach. Do you think that what do you think? I mean, what do you think can really change the game around? If not the wicket, who do you think from England's side can really change the game around for India rather?
See, I think they will have to be watchful against, of course, Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad and the Pacers. Of course, now they will be probably even more in play. The ball was
Yeah,
anyways doing a bit, and now with all the rain and all the moisture in the atmosphere, it might as well start to swing a little bit more by tomorrow, and
yeah,
that will be something that they will have to be watchful against. One thing that I think that no one has been talking about a lot because of all the wickets that kind of has been lost in the past is the kind of start India made. We were talking about that the initial hour is going to be important, and
yeah.
India managed to do that very well. They did not lose the wicket. They were in there and they were just hanging in there, getting the runs, and the runs were coming at a fair tick as well. So I think
Right.
that was impressive. It is exactly that what India would have to perhaps do on day three as well. Because if they can maybe add, see if you still can have maybe 100 run partnership, there's no reason that why Pant and KL Rahul cannot have another 100 run partnership. And if they can have that, you are already some 40-50 runs ahead of England.
So
Later on,
basically,
if you can have,
expecting them
yeah,
to add this partnership, and you're looking at, let's say, 50-100 on the board. Which I mean, for the
yeah.
caliber of players that Pant and KL Rahul are, we're not surprised if they'll manage to do that. But you still feel that it's going to be in India's favor, yes or no?
No, I don't think it's any more in anyone's favor. It's quite
Okay.
tilted into the balance. If they can get more wickets and tumble them out, then it might as well, in fact, go in England's favor. So if there is not another partnership, a good partnership between Pant and KL Rahul, it
Yeah.
will become a problem for India.
Okay. On that note, of course, we, Prathya and me, are signing off from the studio today. But it was great interacting with all of you. Lekin, of course, this is going to be a very interesting series, and like how the rain also is kind of playing villain, and then we were seeing the brighter aspect of it. Do join us tomorrow because we're going to discuss everything to do with day three. Do not forget that if you have questions, you can send it in, and all our experts will be having other experts also on the show tomorrow. So do not forget to stay tuned. Until then, of course, I'm Nivedna Prabhu signing off with our expert Pratyay Tiwari. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, stay tuned to CricTracker for the latest news in the world.